Hello students, and welcome to this video for Word Chapter 4 Mid-Level Exercise number 2. So I'm just double checking my sound here. So this is on page 395 of your textbook. We're now in the mid-level exercises of Chapter 4. It's crazy to think we are almost done, just a couple of exercises away. So page 395 in your textbook. I'm going to read the information as you're getting there in your textbook. You work as a web designer at WWW Web Services Agency, that's a very generic sounding name, and have been asked to provide some basic information to be used in a senior citizens workshop. You want to provide the basic elements of good web design and format the document professionally. Use the basic information you have already prepared in a Word document and revise it to include elements appropriate for a research-oriented paper. So we're going to prepare this with the research paper kind of idea in mind. It says here first, step A, create a blank new document. So you can see I've done that in Word. And it says we need to open the PDF file that we downloaded, Word Chapter 4 M1 Web. So I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to choose to Open. So click Open. I'm going to choose Browse. I'm going to go to Downloads, where the file will be since I downloaded it. I'm going to go down towards the bottom. And here we go. It should be right here. Word Chapter 4 M1 Web. So I'm going to select that file. I'm going to choose to open it. It's going to ask you if you want to convert the file, and you're going to do that. Now sometimes Word gets a little caught up when it's doing it. So you might need to give it a little bit of time to convert it to a PDF. If it doesn't work, you might have to completely close out of Word and do it over again. So you'll notice I have to do this twice. And it says this may take a while. So if it gets caught up, try to wait a little bit. If that doesn't work, then you may have to actually do that. Alright, so we have here our file, and it says save the subsequent Word document, and that's what this file is, as the same name, but we're adding our last name and first name. So I'm going to click Browse because I need to navigate to the folder I'm wanting to save it to. And then I'm going to add underscore last name, first name. Right there. Now it says change the author name, and that's on our cover page here. So right down here, author name. This is still, this is part of step B. It says change it. So I'm going to select, so I'm going to click in here. Oh, okay. Change it to Shannon Lee. Notice I had to click in here and press delete to get rid of the other name, Shannon Lee. Then it says step C, place the insertion point at the end of the proximity paragraph after the period on the second page of the document. So here's my proximity paragraph right here, and it says I'm placing it after the period at the end of the paragraph. So right here. Actually, I need to move forward a little bit more right after the paragraph. There we go. And then it says the paragraph ends with indicates less proximity, so we're in the right spot. Insert the following footnote. So I'm going to click on the References tab. I'm going to click on Insert Footnote. It's going to put a number 1 there. And then it says to type in the following information. So I'm going to do that. Max Rabaza, excuse me. Effective websites, Chicago, Windy City Publishing Incorporated, 2014. So I typed in my information text here. It says do not include the period after 2014. Alright, that's step C. Let's start with step D. Insert a table of contents on a new page after the cover page. So I'm going to click up here to the top of this page, and I'm going to insert a blank page. So let's push this down. I'm going to click back up here on this first page, and then I need to go to References tab, and I'm going to do Table of Contents. Now, it says use a style of your choice. So you can look at the different ones there. I'm going to go with Automatic Table 2. I kind of like how it looks a little bit better. And it puts it on my new page for me. Alright, step E, add a bibliography to the document by inserting citation sources from the footnotes already in place. Because you will not use in-text citations, you will use the source manager to create the sources. To add new sources, complete the following steps. So it says we're using the footnotes throughout our document to create the sources. So you can see one of them's a book. It says one's a website magazine, and things like that. So I'm going to have to go through the document here. So we got one here on this page, got one here on this one, and then let me go down here to these. Yeah, we got one more here. So it looks like we're going to have a total of about 4. So I'm going to go up here to my first footnote. And it says first, the way we're going to do it here is click the References tab. I'm already on that. Then it says click Manage Sources. So here my Citations and Bibliography group, Manage Sources. I click on that. The window is going to come up. Add a source for the footnote you created in step C. So it's a book. So I'm going to click on New. And then it says, oh, hang on a second. You know what? I'm going to move this over so I can see the information. There we go. New. And it says here that it's a book. So I click New, and I just did that. And then it says add the source to both the current list and the master list. So it says here the author is Max Rabaza. And it says the title is Effective Websites. It says the year is 2014. It says the city was Chicago, and the publisher was Windy City Publishing Incorporated. Now I'm just going to put that information in because that's all that gives to me. So I've typed that in, I've selected book as my source, and I'm going to click OK. Now it should be on your master list and your current list. So see here it's on the master list and it's also on the current list. So that's the first one I created. Now I need to do it for the 2 additional sources identified in the document footnotes. The footnote is on the the footnote on the 4th page is from an article in a periodical, and the footnote on the 5th page cites a journal article. So I'm going to exit out of that, and I'm going to go here. This is our 4th page right here, consistency. So manage sources. I'm going to move it here to this side so I can see the information. I'm going to click New. I'm going to scoot it back over, and it says the one in page 4 is from an article of a periodical. So I'm going to click on here, type of source, and it's this one right here, article in a periodical. It says the author name. I'm going to type it in. So we've got Kayleen DeRocher. And then it says the title is ABCs of website. You know what? I'm just going to not put this in caps. ABCs of website consistency. And then it says the periodical title. It looks like it's Website Magazine. The year is 2015. They don't really give us a month or a day per se, but they do provide us with pages. So I'm going to go down to pages here, type in 33 through 34. And it looks like that's basically, I'm going to click Show All Bibliography Fields because it does provide us with the number 7, which we're going to assume is the edition number or volume number for that year. So it looks like it's the issue number 7. So we'll type that in, number 7 for issue, and then we can click OK for this information. So you can see I have it like this here. And then, of course, issue number 7, I'm going to click OK. You can see it's in our current list and our master list, which is good. That's a nice thing. You've noticed the files we've worked on, we've slowly been adding to our sources that are available, which is nice when you're working on multiple papers but need the same source. Okay, then we got our one on our 5th page. So I'm going to scroll down here to page 5. Now you'll notice I look down here for the page number, not on the numbers on the pages because those are technically off from what we're using the numbers for right now. So I have my box I click on, Manage Sources, I click on New, and of course it says here it's a journal article for this one. So I'm going to click on Journal Article, I'm going to use the information from the footnote. So this one is from Kenyon, something like that. And the title, we've got color, background, and themes. Now you'll notice I'm not putting it in quotation, or I'm trying not to put quotation marks in. That's just something that it does with the formatting for the citation. So we don't necessarily need to put it in for our information here. Then it says journal name is Web Guidelines and Conventions. And then of course it says our year is 2015 and pages is 166 through 167. Now you notice I'm just using the information presented. I could click show all bibliography fields, but I don't have any more info to put in. So we're just going to stick with that there. So we finished doing that. I'm going to click OK. Now we've added the ones that they mentioned specifically in the book. So we have our 3 here total that we have. It's in the current list. It's also in the master list. You've been noticing it's been adding it to both here. Then it says here we're going to actually insert the bibliography at the end of the document. This is step F. I'm going to save before I move on here. At the end of the document using a separate page and Chicago style. So I go down here to the end of the document. I could have done Control End, and then I'm going to insert a blank page. And then it gives me that new page here. And then I'm going to insert it, but I need the Chicago style. So right now it's set to APA. I'm going to switch it to Chicago. Now the nice thing is with Word, it used to be you had to look up, okay, how do I have to style it and all this other stuff. Word does this for you. You can just select which style you want and which edition, and it does it for you. So we have it set to Chicago. I'm going to click bibliography style now because I've selected this, the bibliography because I've selected the style I wanted. And then it says here, apply heading 2 style. So I do need heading 2 style. So let's see here, references, bibliography. We're going to go with, select bibliography right here. So that's good. Apply heading 2 style. Sorry, I was getting a little confused here for a second. Lost my place. So I'm going to select the text here. To the bibliography heading. So let's just select this line up here. So I've inserted the bibliography. Click Home tab. I'm going to select heading 2 style to the bibliography heading, which basically it looks the same. And center the heading. So I'm going to do that as well. So it should look like this here in the bibliography. Double space, the bibliography. So I'll select it again here, except not the top part. Double space it. So I'm going to select 2.0, which I think it already had, and then ensure that there's no paragraph spacing. So we go to our layout tab, and you can see there's after. We're going to switch it to 0. All right, step G. Here's step G we're working on now. Mark all occurrences of web, content, and site as index entries. So we're going to references here. Okay, so first, let's search for web. So I'm going to hold on Control and F, and I'm going to type in the word web. And I'm going to go to the first occurrence of it. So right up here, design of a website. I'm going to have that text selected here, and then I'm going to choose Mark Entry. Now you can see here web is in there for the main entry, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Mark All. When I click Mark All, you'll notice throughout the document it's gone and marked most of the words of web with that Mark Entry part. So we just took care of web, so let's type in now our next word here. So content. Notice I'm on the References tab. I go to the first occurrence of it. Now you can see we have the word web a lot, where now content is much less. So I'm going to select the word content, and I'm going to choose Mark Entry. You can see the word content is there. I'm going to choose Mark All, and there you go. I'm going to click Close, and then I'm going to do this again here with Site. And you can see I'm going to go to the first occurrence of it, so I click on it up here, and then I'm going to select, I'm going to dismiss this here, excuse me. Then I'm going to select the word Site, and then I'm going to choose Mark Entry, and then I'm going to choose select, or excuse me, mark all. Now click close. So I've just gone through and marked all of the entries there just by searching for the first one and then putting it in. So, and we did that so we can create an index, a separate page after the bibliography. So I'm going to press Control and then End on my keyboard to go down to the end page here. It says on a blank page, so I'm going to click Insert Blank Page. It's going to put a blank page here for me. And now I'm going to insert the index. So I click on References tab. And then I'm choosing here to go to my index group. I click Insert Index. This is going to come up here. And it says we're going to use the formal format. So formal format. So when it comes to here, here's our format from template. And we're going to scroll down to formal. So right down here is where we change it. And then I'm going to click OK. And it's put in our index for us just like that. So C, S, and W, those were only words we went and put the index in for. Then it says step H here. We're almost done here with this exercise. Click the File tab and click Share. So we aren't going to actually do this step for OneDrive. Let's just go and we're going to save it as is. And that says, so basically go into step I now. Begin to track changes. So I'm going to click on the View tab. I'm going to go to Track Changes and click Track Changes. Now, if it worked properly, you're going to see how, do you see how it's gray here? That means it actually selected. And also when I click on it, there's a blue box. So ensure that it's actually set to track. It's been kind of funky. Not working as well with some of you. So double check, make sure. Then it says select the heading, proximity and balance. So I'm going to hold down Control and push F. I'm just going to type it in here. It says it's on the third page, but I'm just going to search for it this way. I've got a couple occurrences of it. So I'm going to go to the second one because it's right here. Proximity and balance. I'm going to click first and I'll exit out of it here. Excuse me. And it says add a new comment. So I'm going to select the text and I'm going to add a comment to it. And I'm going to go and type in, it says this section seems incomplete. Please check and add content. Then it says step J, add the following sentence as a second sentence in contrast and focus section. So it's very close by, so I'm going to exit out this little word bubble here. So I'm adding this in as the second sentence in the contrast and focus section. So I'm going to click right here after this sentence, that's the first one, and type this in. This section, make sure I got track changes, okay. This section seems incomplete. Oh, excuse me, I'm typing the wrong step here. Let's try this again. I jumped up a step. We're on step J. You are most likely, I'm going to move my mouse so I can actually see what I'm typing, familiar with the concept of contrast when working with pictures in an image editor. So I push a period there. I have a space. I'm going to save the document. Now it says something about replacing the existing file. We didn't do the OneDrive thing, so you don't have to worry about that. Now you notice because I typed it in, I have that, it tracked the change here. Because of the I have it on simple markup, it doesn't, it just shows up as the red line. If I want it different, I could do all markup. But that's how you complete the steps here for Word Chapter 4 Mid-Level Exercise 1. So don't forget to submit this file right here. Remember, I'm going to go scroll through here, just a quick scroll through so you can see we changed the author's name, we put table of contents here. We do have our index entries throughout. We did add our footnotes. here, and then we also went and added the sources, and then we have our bibliography at the end, and then also the index, which should look like this. So great job following along, and submit that exercise.